Please. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to that one time on tour. I think it's episode. Wait, I'm going to find out what episode it is. I've been away for so long, I forgot, but I have it written down. Let me see. This is episode 206. 206. And I'm here with my good buddy, my bandmate, all around great guy, amazing drummer, Mr. Matt Morris. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. You're promoting your punk rock drummers group. I, for some reason, have this like 5-year-old Pure Pleasure podcast shirt on that Dewey sent me from Pure Pleasure. It's got let me see where it's at. It's got the Equal Vision logo right there. It's pretty cool. But it was very hot in
Yeah.
Indiana today. I didn't go outside much today. I have allergies. I feel like I don't know. Do you have allergies at all?
No, I typically don't suffer too much from allergies. I rarely get sick. I have a sensitive stomach. That's about it. I can't hear you. You're gonna have to tap your mic again.
My mic is a bitch. Is it-
It's out again. Yeah. It's got a bad connection.
What about now?
It's working.
It is. Okay, I won't touch it.
Yeah. Yeah, don't touch it anymore.
But it's a good mic. It's the cable's kind of a joke,
Yeah, yeah.
but no, I just
What
in
were you
like
saying?
the beginning of summer, like the end of spring, when the pollen hits in Indiana, I get really itchy eyes and my throat gets all scratchy and I sneeze and I take medicine, but
Mhm.
it just takes the edge off. It doesn't really do much.
I rarely suffer from it. I'll get a sinus infection maybe once a year, but I think it's like in September or so, or like
Yeah.
maybe like in the fall times, but not anything now. I
Well, hey
rarely get
man,
sick.
now that the small talk's out of the way, tell me what's going on with the Punk Rock Drummers podcast.
Yeah, so Christian and I have just been really busy. He's dealing with family stuff. I'm dealing with family stuff. We're trying to sell a house, and we had an estate sale, not our house, but my wife's mom passed away a few years ago and left a house, and we decided to sell it, and so we've been dealing with that, and work, and just trying to stay afloat, just like everybody else.
And
And so
you've been doing a lot of recording and stuff too at Barking Dog Studio, right?
yeah, yeah. Um, you know, some bands. I recorded a band, the Hoaxers, recently. The Way Down. I worked on Red Animal Wars new album. I do some cover projects. But right now it's being used as a rehearsal studio for our local theater. So,
I remember you told me
so
about that. That's really cool, man, to help them out like that.
yeah, every summer, 3 nights a week, there's about 40 or 50 people that come over and rehearse in the drum room. So my drums are kind of put aside for right now, and it's pretty nuts in here. They're doing SpongeBob the musical.
Hey, there you go. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but I still have like nobody comes in my office
Yeah.
area, so I can come in here and do
Is
stuff if
that
I need
like
to.
is that like your control room? I haven't visited since you
Yeah.
since you restructured everything, but
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's control room.
dude, what I'm thinking, like I I'll just lay it out on the podcast. I know that like our label and our agent wants us to go play some shows in December. I'd almost rather play like one Dallas show and then have like 3 or 4 days to write and record with you guys together.
That'd be fun.
Like I want to play a show, but I think it would be worth more since we have a full length coming out next year if we were able to like not be thousands of miles apart and actually get to work on it. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
bring
that's
that
something
up to the powers that be and see what they say.
I think you just did.
Yeah, I guess I did. I don't pay the bills though. Seth does.
Yeah, I know it sucks, like growing up, you were always together. You didn't have a band with people, thousands of miles away or whatever. Just you couldn't do it back then.
We are definitely
Now you
like
can.
we are definitely like a band of this era because I mean, if not for COVID, we wouldn't exist. Like
Yeah,
COVID
that's true.
really pushed me into like I mean, I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, and I know I've talked to you about it. If I wouldn't have got asked by different people during COVID to like do covers, I don't think my mind understood that, oh, I can record my stuff and then other people can record to a click and it's all the same. I've recorded
Right.
forever. I mean, I went to school to record. I did all that, but I guess I never had a reason to do it that way until everybody was, going to die from COVID.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't know who you were until Brad told me about you. He said you did this podcast and he wanted you to do a cover or maybe a solo. What
Well, yeah, what it
was
was like I was kind of pissed off because I hadn't been asked by anybody. Like all my friends were doing stuff with Mikey and his uke and just
yeah.
different random stuff here and there. Like you guys were doing uh just like them, right?
Yeah, and
With
what
Scott
incarnation?
and
Yeah.
what oh no, what incarnation was Scott and just like them was just like with a bunch of singers, right? And then
Right.
I was kind of like every day of the pandemic, I'm sitting there like, fuck, man, I was in a band. I've done stuff. I've got this podcast. Why is nobody asking me to do anything? And like the next day, Brad hit me up and he's like, hey, man, we're doing this. We're doing clean sheets with Jarrett from Bowling for Soup. He was a buddy of
That's
mine.
what it was.
And he's like, do you
Yeah.
want to, most of it's done, but do you want to play Stefan solo? And I'm like, finally, somebody asked me to do one of these quarantine covers. And then that kind of kicked off you and me and Brad being bros, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we hit
I'm
it off
glad it
really
happened. I'm really glad it happened.
quick. Me too. Yeah, we did. We hit it off really quick and I don't remember exactly how. I guess we just maybe wrote to each other back and forth for a while
I,
and
I think it took
maybe
a
finally
while.
talked.
It took a while to kind of get that cover done. I don't know if it was like it took me a while to get my video
Jared was
done
taking
or
a long time.
yeah. And I think there was like
Yeah.
a chat or something, and you and I just started kind of broing down and talking.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, oh, what it was Jarrett did his vocals right away, but it took a long time to get a video. And I think we were talking about maybe animating him or something or something like
Yeah.
that. Love you, Jared.
But yeah, it was
Jarrett.
it was it was really cool because, shortly thereafter, Fire Sale, which had just started, we had gone through, the drummer Will that played on the first two songs. He was kind of in the band, but he was kind of doing other stuff and he lived in Jersey and he wasn't really into punk rock. He was kind of into like radio metal and new metal and he was doing a lot of like he was doing rap songs, producing rap songs for a guy from Run DMC. Like he was doing a lot of stuff and he was a really good session drummer. So like our producer at the time, Brian, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna get Will to play on this because we didn't really have a drummer. Our first song, if you remember, was a drum machine
Yeah.
that long overdue. I think it's still the fake drums on even the new version we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think you played on it. Maybe you did. I don't know.
Oh, by the way, you've gotten really good at programming drums. I don't
I
know if I've told you.
Well, dude, I've kind of switched around. What I used to do was I would find like kind of like a loop that I liked, and then I
Yeah.
would manipulate the loop. And so like sometimes it was kind of weird because it was a loop, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm
now,
listening to the song. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
no, but now I'm like, okay, now we've been a band long enough that I know that if I do a bunch of crazy shit and then we listen to that demo for a year and then you don't
Mhm.
do the crazy shit, but you do your own crazy shit, I'm going to be like, oh, it doesn't sound the same because you get that demoitis where you listen to
Yeah.
something over and over. So now I'm just using my MIDI controller and I'm just like playing the drums
Hmm.
with my fingers instead of like using the pencil tool and like drawing it in. Because if you play it kind
Right.
of right and then you quantize it, like it's easy.
Hmm.
I'd always just kind of like
Yeah.
I found something I kind of liked in my library of loops, and then I would go into the MIDI, the piano roll, and I would just like move kick drums and move snares and shit, you know? And plus, I'm not a
Yeah.
drummer,
Yeah.
so sometimes it's crazy what I do.
I'm kind of one of those guys. I'm kind of a less is more drummer.
I mean,
And
I want that, but when I'm doing it, I'm like
yeah.
my OCD
Yeah.
bullshit where everything has to be crazy.
Yeah, but I like doing, it's funny. I feel like, when you first start playing drums, it's like you're uphill, uphill, uphill. And then after so many years, 20 years, 25 years, whatever, you kind of plateau. It's like, you know, that's when family and kids and careers and start to, and it's like you don't learn as much.
You
But I
plateau until
feel
me
like,
and Riddle wants you to play 220
yeah,
beats per minute, right?
right, right. So meeting you guys has gotten me, well, doing all these projects and just kind of getting into different genres and
Yeah.
whatnot. It's kind of opened my mind up to different, in the internet too. You can't get on Facebook or Instagram without seeing some crazy drummer, like, or maybe even someone showing you a fill, like fill of the day or whatever.
Yeah.
I know there's a guy on the Punk Rock Drummers group that does the fill of the day. I haven't seen him in a while, but those are really cool. I'm like, oh man, I could do that. I could incorporate that into a song. I never thought of that. And so I'll sit down and learn it and have some fun.
Well,
But
yeah.
I feel like I'm back on the up again.
I mean, I thought you were such a rad drummer, and we'll go back to the story a little bit. Like, we didn't have a drummer. My buddy Paul had joined, and every time he was supposed to go to the studio, something came up, and then he hurt his back, and then and Paul's a great drummer. He's an awesome guy. I think he's a member of that group. I think you've talked to Paul before, I'm sure. But like
I'm sure. Yeah.
his name went on our first 7 inch, even though he didn't play on the 7 inch, and then he never played on anything else. So his name's on that first 7 inch, but he never played a drum track for Fire Sale. And
Hmm.
I remember you, I was like, dude, I want you to be the guy. And you were like, I want to be the guy. And I'm like, well, I gotta talk to everybody else because it's kind of a democracy. And I had this, I don't
Right.
ever get like anxiety or anything. I'm not a nervous guy. I'm pretty much blunt, and like every band I've ever been in, it's like this is how it is. We can vote on it or whatever, but this is how it is, and this is our best option. And so I was like nervous to tell Riddle and Pedro, and at that time, Timmy was still kind of an active member from Protest the Hero. And I remember finally I just got, it was like 10 o'clock at night. You'd been on my podcast already. You and I had talked about it forever. And I just texted
Yeah.
everybody, and I texted everybody. I said, "Hey, I'm making an executive decision. My buddy Matt's going to be the new drummer," and everybody just hearted it. Like that was it,
Okay. Good to
because
know.
they all knew you. Pedro had seen you play. Riddle had seen you play. Like it was. I was so worried because up to that point we had such a hard time like trying to keep a core member together, like membership together, because we hadn't played a show. It was still new and weird, and we were still kind of locked down a
Yeah.
little bit, like. So I just remember I sent that text. I said, "Hey, executive decision. Matt's going to be our drummer." I said, "If anybody has an issue
That's
with
so
that,
funny.
you can voice it, but I'm just going to say he's the new drummer." And then everybody's just like,
Yeah.
"Cool, Matt's great."
Okay. That's
And
good to
that was
know.
it. That was it, man. And so,
Man, I'm very happy in this band.
I mean,
It's
it's pretty
made me
stress
better.
free.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the stress is going to hit the fan when we have to really start getting this full length going, but still not
Yeah,
like a
we've kind of
normal
gotten
band.
comfortable.
Yeah, I
Yeah, we've
mean,
gotten comfortable with 2 song
well, dude,
things,
I've been comfortable this year because honestly, like my mom and I are planning a trip to Iceland
Okay.
because she had open heart surgery last year, and it was pretty touch and go for a while. And we always used to go on mother son trips. We went to Alaska. My sister a couple years ago took her to Italy, and like I kind of told her, I'm like, do you think you have another trip in you? Because she's doing fine now, but after something like that, it's like, you don't want to just go out of the country 9 or 10 times. Like, I just wanted to
Right.
know. she kind of just likes going up to the lake and like doing stuff. And so I'm like, at first I was like, let's go to Vietnam, let's go to the Philippines, like let's go to Japan. And she wasn't into that. But she's always wanted to go to
Yeah.
Iceland or Ireland. So we're gonna pick one of the two. I am pushing for Iceland because I've never been there. And I've been to Ireland a bunch. I love it. Irish people listening, I love
Well,
it.
not too far apart from each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we could do two in the 4 or 5 days we're gonna have, but you know,
Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. I just meant, they're both very close to each other. So
but I've been enjoying like it's kind of weird because at the beginning of the year, we got a new booking agent,
hmm
and when we signed with the new booking agent, it was like, well, you guys might still be able to get some of the European stuff, you might be able to get some of the Canadian festivals, but it's kind of late. And so then like
yeah.
we got an offer from a festival in Canada, we got an offer from a festival in Europe, two festivals in Europe, but because it was so late and a lot of the budget was gone, like the space wasn't great, the budget wasn't right for us, like it just didn't make a lot of sense. We would really kind of be losing our ass if we went over there for like 3 days or whatever. Last year was a little bit different. Like there was a little bit more budget to throw around. So when we had to say no to that, which our booking agent told me, he said, next year is going to be fire sale year. He's like, take it easy, write the record. Next year we're going to be in first in line for all of these places, and then we'll see where the cards fall. And so I was excited about that, but then I'm like, man, when we first played our first show in 2023, we've kind of not constantly done stuff, but pretty consistently done stuff.
Yeah.
At
We're
least a
staying
couple a
in
couple times a
clear.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like bummed at first, and then like certain members of the team were like, let's do a Midwest tour. And I was talking to certain members of the team, like, I live in the Midwest and there's not shit here. Like,
Right.
I know, like, when Strung Out came to play here with Death by Stereo, I went to that show because Butao was playing with Death by Stereo. And I was like
Right.
expecting it to be insane. And there was maybe 50 people there.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's for Strung Out and Death by Stereo on the same show. So
Right.
I was kind of telling, certain members of the team that wanted us to do something like that. I was like, that might be a good idea if it was like Chicago, or if it was like, I don't know, even Milwaukee or Minneapolis or something like that. But Indiana is just kind of dead. It's been dead for a while. I love where I live, but back in the day, No Effects would sell out a place in Indianapolis. Bad Religion would come and sell out a place. Nowadays, the bands that come through, it's great that they're coming through for the people that do love them, but I don't know. Like if there's pop groups that come through and they do like second tier, like ones that play clubs, they do great. But
Right.
like punk rock and metal bands coming through, I don't think there's a huge market for it here. So that kind of scared me. So then I said no to that. And then we have this idea of maybe doing some Texas, Oklahoma stuff in December. I'm okay with that because I do want to see you guys, even if it's one or two shows, like whatever. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
got,
mean, we
I,
could get stuff done.
yeah, I got kind of like comfortable with the idea of like, oh, next year is going to be great. This year, I'm just going to bust my ass writing songs. And then like everybody, what are you guys going to play here? What are you going to play here? I'm like, dude, wait till next year. Just wait till next year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool with some dates. Yeah. What they'd say, December? Or I think you
Like the
mentioned
first or
December.
second week of December, like
Yeah.
I definitely a Dallas show. Uh I honestly I'd be cool with just doing like a Dallas show and then doing a video or working on the stuff. I mean, but
Yeah.
if it is like a Dallas and a Houston or a Dallas and a San Antonio or Dallas and Austin or whatever, yeah, that's fine with me.
I think Dallas, Austin would be good because
Yeah.
Austin's just 3 hours south.
Well, and I think, that last time that we did that mini Texas takeover thing, the shows were all good, but the Dallas and the Austin shows were the best.
hmm
I mean, there were more
Yeah, well,
people
the
there.
San Antonio was a matinee.
Yeah, San Antonio. That's where I wonder if we were playing like a regular evening show in San Antonio, how it would be.
Well, remember, oh, what's that band called that was playing that night?
Oh,
Mac Sabbath.
Max Sabbath. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they were playing. They were
Yeah,
playing in
keep
the big
talking. I'm
bar
going to turn my air
that.
back on. Keep talking
Yeah.
what you're going to say. It's getting hot in here again.
What's funny about that show is I went over to check out Mac Sabbath. Well, I went out to check out the building, and I walk next door and I go in a room and they're not in costume. And I take a picture and a guy comes out and he's like yelling at me. And I have a picture of him like you know, like pointing his finger at me, as he's yelling at me.
I went
I
in
didn't
there.
realize it.
I went in there and watched a little bit of like their sound check when they didn't have their costumes on, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I love Black Sabbath, so it's kind of
Yeah.
it reminds me of this band. I got this like bootleg CD when I was young, when I was in high school. It was called Beatallica, and it was this band that like mixed. They mixed Metallica and the Beatles together. It wasn't like they did a Metallica version of a Beatles song. It was like
Right.
they took a Metallica song and like inserted Beatles lyrics, and then they would break down and play like a Beatles song with Metallica. Like it was so weird. If anybody's out there, I don't know if it's on. I think it's on YouTube, but it's called Beatallica. It's awesome. You gotta check it out. Very
I'll have
much
to look it
kind
up.
of like Max Sabbath.
Yeah.
Although, do they just do
That's
Black
hilarious.
Sabbath dressed up like McDonald's characters?
Well, I think he changes the lyrics to McDonald's themed lyrics. I don't know if like the majority of the lyrics are the same and then just like certain phrases get changed or if it's just completely new lyrics that
Yeah,
has
I
to do
wonder
with
what the legal aspect of that is with McDonald's or Black Sabbath
I
for
don't
that
know.
matter.
I don't know. I think a lot of that's pretty well protected, like parody laws. I
Yeah.
I may be just making up that word, but parody law
No, I,
sounds
I mean I
like
remember a lot of that
there
with
should be
with Weird Al back in the
weird.
day. Like there were times I remember there was some story I heard in an interview with him of where the label that owned the first like not the first Nirvana, the second Nirvana album, never mind, they wanted Weird Al to do he did it with Smells Like Nirvana. It's the parody of Smells Like Teen
Right.
Spirit. But they were like, "Yeah, you
Hmm.
can do it. You can do it." He's like, "Well, I want to." He said, "I really like Nirvana and I respect Kurt, so I kind of want to get his approval." So like he actually got
Right.
Kurt to say, "Yeah, you can do it." But I do think there are some laws like I always heard like you can change something 30% and then it's not like you can't have legal stuff come against you, but I think that's bullshit. I think that's not true.
I mean, if you watch Saturday Night Live, they're always, you know, riffing on something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They there must be something in place to protect people when they're, I mean, even using the same brand name. I just don't know how they do it, but
Yeah, well, I'll tell you,
anyway,
the
I don't know.
Ataris,
I don't know.
the Ataris, like a lot of people always thought the Ataris were going to get sued. And then like I remember
Mhm.
Chris Rowe telling me this is way before I played in the band. He said that they like got a letter from the Atari company, and the letter was like, "Hey, we dig the band, keep using the name." Like they were
Oh,
totally
that's
cool,
awesome.
totally cool about it. No legal shit, whatever.
Sometimes it helps. Yeah, so like if the name gets popular again, if it has some sort of resurgence and then it makes people nostalgic, they're gonna want. I don't know if you can. I don't know if they still sell Ataris, but I mean,
Well,
if
I
they were
think
still
Atari.
around,
I think the Atari company is still a thing. I think they
yeah,
possibly sell games to other systems. Is what they like. They
yeah,
create games for other systems. I had
yeah.
a
So I mean, huh?
no. I was just gonna say a funny story. I probably told you the story before,
Go
but
ahead.
I had an Atari shirt on one time before I was in the band, and there's
Yeah.
this kid at Burger King. He's like, "What's the Aderus?" And I was like, oh, it's the church camp I go to. That was the first thing
The
I could think of.
address.
It sounded like a church camp. I don't know. Not a great story, but funny enough.
Yeah, I remember there was a girl I was kind of dating around the time. What's that one album? The one that
The big
has the
album,
sign on it? Yeah. Yeah.
So long
I guess
Astoria.
was that around 99,
Oh
2000,
no, shit.
something like
That's
the one?
like either Blue Skies or Indus Forever.
I,
One of the Kung Fu
I think it was
records.
I think it was Blue Skies, but the one I only remember is the big one as far as like visualizing it. But anyway, she was obsessed with the Ataris, and I was like, "Who is this?" And then I guess someone told me something about Derek Plord played in the Ataris, but like I still didn't listen
He
for some
played
reason. I don't know
on the
why.
first record anywhere but here.
Yeah,
Because when Chris
but
went out to when he went out to LA, he didn't really have a band. He got signed off a demo he did with a drum machine. And when he went out
oh
and met with Joe at Kung Fu, they kind of like helped him put a band together. And Derek had just he'd been out of Lagwagon for a while and he'd kind of cleaned up his act a bit. And he ended up moving to Indiana and playing with the band and kind of getting it off the ground and then toured a bunch with him and did that first record before they replaced him with a kid who's playing with him again now.
okay. Yeah, I didn't know much about the Ataris, and but I was aware, because when I met you, I was like, oh, he's in the Atari. Oh, that's
Well, I was the
awesome.
fifth guitarist in the Ataris. It kind of like
Well, right, you were in the
Dave Grohl was the fifth drummer of Nirvana, so I always tell people that.
I've heard that.
But no, the thing was, I was a big punk rock fan, and I'd been in touring bands and done all kinds of shit. And Chris Rowe came back to Anderson, and I had always been aware of the band. I liked a lot of their stuff, and I'd never really learned any of it per se. But when Chris asked me to join, he's like, "Do you know any of the songs?" And I'm like on guitar. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No." Like, I like your band, but I've never sat down to learn an Atari song. So then I had to, but
Right.
yeah.
That's cool, man. I mean, I've been in a touring band and we played some big shows, but yours probably were way bigger than the ones I
Well, I mean,
played.
yes and no. I mean, I remember we would go on a tour where in big markets like Chicago, and be at the Metro or somewhere, and there'd be tons of people there. And then the next
Yeah.
night you play in Milwaukee, and there'd be like 100 kids. So I mean, it
I
was
guess this is how it is.
maybe when So Long Astoria was blowing up and they were all over MTV, it was like, living the life. But when I joined shortly thereafter, there were still massive shows and I mean like playing Warp Tour and everything, but it was always a crapshoot. You never knew if you were in a good market, you knew it was going to be pretty good, but when you're touring like as much as we did when I was in the band and you don't have a radio single or anything, you would get the big shows, but you'd have to get to the big shows. So like
Yeah.
it was like every day was different.
Yeah. It's funny how some bands kind of break through and kind of stay, and then some bands they have a big record and then you don't hear from them again for 20
It,
years or whatever
it's
until they do some sort
it's
of
really
like,
weird too, man, because like no one ever really knows how to stick around because you just write what you want to write. I mean, I'm even having that weird idea in my head because some of the stuff, okay, the song that I wrote like a week or two ago and I sent you guys and I said, I don't think you guys are going to like this. And
oh, I love that
then
one.
you guys dug it. And that kind of made me feel like, it made me feel like, oh, Fire Sale can kind of do anything. Like it's still in the punk
Yeah.
realm. It's not like Albatross or something. It's different, but it's still
Yeah.
us. I mean, I get this idea in my head because I sit out here in my studio and when I teach guitar and when I don't have a kid for like a half hour, I'll open up a Logic session and I'll just start jamming around until I find something I like. And it's not always punk. It's not always fast, you know. Sometimes it's weird and it's in 6/8 time or it's in 7/8 time. And I for the longest time I was like, oh well, this isn't Fire Sale. This has got to be something else. But
Yeah.
I think we can kind of do like there's no fucking rules for this band, right?
No, I think we're still kind of new, and I still think people are hearing different sides of us every time we put something out. It might sound a little, we haven't really solidified maybe a certain sound like a lot of bands have that have been around a long time.
Because listen,
Um,
Dark Hearts doesn't sound
it's a
like
good position to be in.
yeah, Dark Hearts doesn't sound like a Fool's Errand.
No,
Like
not at all.
We Dance for
So,
Sorrow doesn't sound like the Albatross. Like they're all kind of
yeah,
different, you know.
it's funny. It's like Fire Sale songs are either like kind of dark or they're like bright and happy.
Yeah, the
It's like,
dark ones are
I like
mine,
being
and the
happy.
bright ones are riddles.
Yeah, which is weird to me.
Well, no, because he's like black metal, blah blah blah, and I mean, I just
Oh, I
really
see.
I have a hard time writing anything in a major key like that. I don't want to give
Yeah.
the title out, but that Revelation whatever song, you know what I'm talking about? That the one that's on the demos. That's in a major key.
Yeah,
It's kind of happy. That was my idea
right.
of playing a happy song, but still in that song, there's weird ass chords in that song.
Yeah, like those
But it's
dissonant kind of
but it's like a
chords.
happy dissonance. It's not a sad dissonance, you know.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. I think it's a good position to be in because that you're a lot more free. You can play what you want and yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like not being, expecting every song to be super fast, like no effects
Yeah, and I
stuff.
mean, and there's super fast songs on that demo list, you know, like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
definitely banger fast songs on there, but then there's also some just nice groovy stuff. Like there's one song on there that's almost like an Alice in Chains song. I wrote it like 2 years ago. You probably haven't heard it forever.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to those songs you sent the other day. I noticed like I don't know if it's true for everyone, but every song, but any like faster songs, the fast part isn't as long. Like it'll play fast for a little bit, then it's like slows down. I'm like, oh, thank you. I was like, he was
I don't
thinking
know if
about
that
me.
was I don't know if that was like a conscious thing
Intentional.
that I did, but maybe I don't know.
I'm
I,
sitting there listening to it. I'm like, yeah, I can play for that long. Oh, a break. Yeah, okay.
I honestly I overthink a lot of stuff, and I was thinking the other day, and I wanted to run it by you, and I don't really care people listening if they hear this, it's an insecurity, but I want to make sure the full length flows really well. So what I
hmm
wanted to do without like stealing an idea or anything, I wanted each of us to kind of pick what we thought a perfect record was and then kind of
Yeah.
dissect their sequencing. Like are what
It
you know like
from the
what
demos.
yeah, like and then that could kind of give us a starting point of what ones we want to put on the record and what ones we want to work on because like we need a really
Yeah.
big energetic opener that just kind of like here we are, boom. But then when you go like, in the sequence like 2 through 10 or 2 through 11 or whatever, however many is going to be on it, there's maybe the fourth song is this. They used to put the fourth song was like the single. I don't know why
Right.
that is. I haven't studied enough about it. And like maybe
Well, I think it goes back to when like tape days or record days. I think.
it would be
I
like
don't know.
maybe the last or first to last song on a side or something.
Yeah.
Like it
I
sits in a
always think
good
of
spot.
the yeah. I always think of that Green Day tape when I first got Dookie. It was on, a cassette tape, and I think the last song on the A side was Pulling Teeth. And then you
Great
flip it over
song.
and I think it's what yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's the one that people skip typically, I think. And then I think when you turned it over, it was When I Come Around maybe, or I
Well,
can't
you
remember what was
think
on
about
the
that. Think about
first
that.
album.
But like when there were cassettes or when vinyl was bigger, like vinyl's
Yeah,
big now too, you'd want to start that second
that's what I was
side
saying.
off with a banger too, right?
Right. Yeah, there's what I'm saying is there's a formula that I think goes back to vinyl or cassette days,
Well, and
that still.
I don't know if like anybody in the band we need to discuss it, but I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, there's 40 demos on our SoundCloud. And I think hopefully
Hmm.
Riddle's going to write a couple more, and I've got a couple more brewing right now that I started the other day. I think maybe we go through them and, or let's just pick our favorite albums and we'll go through and we'll like name what each like spot is. Like the opener is got to be a big, energetic, probably pretty fast or mid tempo, just like happy song, maybe. And then like go
Yeah,
two,
I think.
two through whatever. We just have to figure out because I have a bunch of different songs. There's Matt's only got one or two on there now, but I know he's going to write more. But I like we have
Yeah,
so many different vibes on that list that I think we could probably fill out those spots in a pretty standard way,
sure. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
just like a
I'm
reference
I'm
kind
not
of
the bad.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, and because I don't know if people listen to albums like they used to anymore.
Yeah,
Um, it's easy to shuffle these days, and I do. I'm guilty of
dude, I'm
shuffling.
guilty of it too. I listen to my
Even with,
playlists.
I mean, I got in the car today, and Lee and I went to breakfast, and I shuffled "They Might Be Giants," but it was only "They Might Be Giants,"
Yeah, yeah.
so I was just shuffling the same band. But yeah, I think I only. It's funny. I think I only listen to albums fully if it's an album that I grew up with.
Yeah,
If it was
yeah.
something that came out when I had an iPhone, I don't listen to it like an album. But anything before that I had a cassette tape or a CD of, I like to listen to it in that sequence.
Well, and dude, me and Dally on our other podcast, Final Destination, we've talked about how back in the day, maybe you had like an allowance, right? And you'd go to Sam Goody
Mhm.
or one of these record stores and you would get a cassette or a CD that cost $19. And maybe at first listen, you didn't really dig it all except the single you heard, but you like set with it and there wasn't every song imaginable for $10 a month. You like set with it so much that you almost like willed yourself to like it. And then you ended up liking it more. It meant more to you.
Yeah, you'd let it play. You'd let it play in the car or whatever it was, or in your Walkman, you know.
Dude, I have
And
I have a
and yeah, you're right. And
vivid memory of when I got Facelift by Alice in Chains. And that same Christmas, I got a Sega Genesis with the first Sonic game, Sonic the Hedgehog. And I went in my bedroom
well,
that day and I put Facelift by Alice in Chains on repeat on my boombox. And I ended up beating Sonic the first day I had it. And I listened to that CD like 50 times in a row. And it's like a core memory in my head of like, oh, I like Alice in Chains now. I'd heard one song when I bought that or when I got it for Christmas.
I remember for Christmas one year I asked for a Walkman and the album 10 by Pearl Jam
Hell yeah, man.
and REM Monster.
Great record, dude.
Because I
REM is such a slept on band. Like I know a lot of people like them, but
I
like
love REM.
I don't hear a lot of people talk about how great that band is so great.
Dude, that song Night Swimming is like one of my favorite songs ever.
I've always wanted
It's
to cover this one goes out to the one I love.
that's a great song. Oh yeah, whatever he says right there.
I
Yeah,
think
well,
he
it's got some cool like little drum things that he does, Mr. Unibrow.
yeah,
Bill
what
Berry, I think is his name.
Peter something. No, maybe Peter plays guitar or bass. Yeah, Bill Berry I think is the drummer. He had like a brain
Yeah,
tumor a
yeah.
while back or something.
I mean, I think in the
Was it the
90s.
90s or the 2000s? Because he quit touring for a while. I can't remember.
I think I have a feeling. I think I remember where I was when I heard that on the radio, and I think I lived in Gainesville, which would have been like 91 to
Gainesville,
95.
Texas.
Yeah, Gainesville, Texas. Yeah. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my brain just put me there, you know, because I was in Gainesville when Kurt Cobain died, and I remember exactly where I was when I heard it on the radio.
I
It's
was
weird how that
talking to
works.
my mom the other day, and she was talking about how she was homesick from school when JFK got assassinated. And I was like,
Yeah.
the only thing that I can think of other than like the space shuttle blowing up and 9/11 is all of my memories that are like her memory of JFK, and it's so vivid and she remembers it, is
Hmm.
when Kurt Cobain died, when Chris Farley died, like
Oh yeah,
st-
I remember that.
comedy and music stuff. Like I have these like insane vivid memories of where I was and what I was doing when that happened. And of course, I think everybody knows what they were doing when like 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And like, and do you
Yeah.
remember you're a couple years
Yeah,
younger than
I was
me.
well, I'm a year. I think I'm a year. I'm 46.
Okay, I'll be
You're
48
47,
this
right?
year. Yeah, I'm 47 right now.
Oh, okay. I was 21 when that happened.
Okay.
And I was still living at home and I was working at a warehouse and I remember I didn't have to be there till 11 o'clock that day. And so I think my mom called me or something and said, "Hey, turn the TV on." And I remember distinctly the first tower had already fallen and I was trying to make sense of it, and
Yeah.
it kept playing on loop, the first tower falling over and over and over and over. And then I remember seeing the second one fall and I was like, why aren't they saying anything about it? It was falling down
Because it was
and
like
they
live
didn't
in
realize.
it was live in like the little corner thing, right?
Well, they kept seeing the loop of the first one and then the second one fell and I guess they thought it was the same loop, whenever it did show it fall. And I remember distinctly that they weren't like, "Oh no," they were just still talking about, the first one, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, are y'all not going to say anything? And finally they did. It seemed like fell. It only took maybe what 4 or 5 seconds, but it
Yeah.
seemed like an eternity for some reason.
Dude, I
But
was
I think
no, keep going. I'm sorry. It keeps cutting us off.
well, I was just gonna say I just don't think I understood the gravity of it at the time. I mean, New York City and the World Trade Center wasn't exactly on my daily,
Yeah.
list of to pay attention to, living in Texas,
Well, speaking
so
of
far away from them.
Texas, Texas has a little bit of a tie-in to my memory of it. My first band out
Uh-huh.
of high school was this band called Chronic Chaos. I actually
Yep.
just the 25th anniversary of our first record was this month, and I remastered and re-edited the entire thing and put it up.
I
Nobody
saw
cares,
that.
but I did it just because I wanted a project. But
Oh, I haven't. I need to listen to it.
I tell you, I wasn't super proud of it because it's kind of like a yearbook picture. But I re-edited all the songs, so instead of 5 and 6 minutes long, they're like 3 and 4 minutes long, and they're bangers now, man. I'm stoked.
So what did you take out? A lot of like
Well,
before, like
it's
beginning and
like
end stuff, or
okay, so when we were young, and I mean, I think we were a pretty good band, but we weren't great songwriters yet because like, oh, that riff's cool. Let's play it 8 times. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. So you
there's
kind
just no
of, yeah.
reason. I didn't take anything out that meant anything to the song. Like, instead of after the chorus playing a riff 8 times, maybe do it twice. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Then I would just chop it
Well,
over.
yeah, we learn we kind of learn what works by listening to successful bands,
Well, I mean,
and
I'm
and
still
maybe
not
some of our
great
songs
at it.
remind
I'll
us.
send Pedro a demo and I'll get it back and it's all cut up because like, oh, I really like that riff, so I played it 4 times. I don't need to play it 4 times.
Oh, he Pedro cuts it
Well, he cuts it up.
cuts up what you
He's
said.
a really good editor, and
He,
sometimes what I've
I
played,
yes, he is.
he doesn't need me to do it that many times for the vocals he's putting on the song, you know?
Dude, big props to Pedro, man. What a
Yeah.
songwriter and singer.
Well, I mean, yeah, because he
It's
takes,
crazy because,
go for it, go for it.
well, I was gonna say he takes your songs, and it's weird because I'll learn the song structure that you send. There's no vocals, but I feel so almost handicapped without a vocal line. I'm
It
so
makes
my
sense. I mean,
longest yeah, my longest running band, 41 Gorgeous Blocks, I was so dependent on Matt Riggle, uh
with a G, two
his
G's.
vocals with two G's, yeah, and how he sang. My drumming really depended on how he maybe enunciated or held out or shortened or whatever it was.
Yeah.
um it would de it would change how I play or approach the song. And he's also a very kind of rhythmic guitar player, so I would do fills with his, he would be playing dun, 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 dun. He would do those kinds of things. But like Fire Sale, it's just so clean and like, you know, almost sterile when I get it. And it's like I don't know what to do with them sometimes. And I'm like, I need a vocal melody. I think that's the only thing that's really going to help me is a vocal melody. And the same thing with Down by Law. Whenever I recorded that album a couple of years ago with them, I didn't really have anything other than like a guitar and maybe a bass,
Yeah.
And so and then like Dave Smalley, we were talking about a song, and I was like, yeah, I matched your vocal line with that drum fill. And he goes, actually, I matched your drum fill with actually changed the song up completely because of what you did there.
That's
But it
cool.
sounded cool.
Well, the thing with Pedro too,
Yeah.
like I write songs and in my mind I'm like, okay, this is an intro, this is a verse, this is a pre-chorus, this is a
Yeah.
chorus, this is a bridge. Like I know in my mind like all the parts, but I've got it back before where he's like, "Hey, the verse makes a better chorus." And so like he flip-flops it and
Yeah.
then I'm like, "Oh my God, why didn't I think of that? It's way better." Like I think it's so nice to like I'll write some little demo that I think's pretty cool. And by the time he gets it and Riddle gets it and Brad gets it and you get it, it's a fire sale song. And like it's not just a
Right.
song I wrote. And I love that. I don't want to be these are my songs, these are Riddle's songs. I want them to be fire sale songs. You know what I mean? And I think that's
Well, it's almost like having a producer in a
yeah.
way,
Yeah, because like
but
I'll send it to
we're
him.
all doing it.
I sent it to Pedro and he's like on that the new song we've got coming out. I mean, I can say the name, it's called Kill the Noise. And and then Riddles is
Mm.
called Desiree. But my song, the one that I wrote the most of, Kill the Noise, when I sent that to Pedro, it was pretty bloated. There was quite a lot of guitar wankery and stuff going on in it, right? And he
Hmm.
sent it back to me, and I'm like, oh, that's rad, man. I love the fact it flows so much better now. And he didn't really cut anything out. It's just he trimmed it like I was talking about. And then
Yeah.
like there
Trimming the
was
fat.
on the bridge, there's that big epic part where there's like the guitars are kind of harmonizing. And he was like, I don't think we need that. And I'm like, I want that. I was like, that was like my favorite part of the entire song. So he goes,
Oh, in the
okay.
bridge.
Yeah, he goes, okay, I'll just harmonize woes over it. It'll be awesome. And then it
Oh
was.
yeah, yeah.
It was
It
such
sounds so much better like that.
it was such like a compromise because before it was just going to be guitars and I liked the guitar part, but I agreed with him that it was kind of weird that at the end of the bridge there was this big like look at me play guitar. But when he did the vocals over the top of it, now it makes sense, you know.
Yeah. I have the drumsticks that I recorded those songs with. Die. That
Yeah.
what's it called? Desiree.
Well, yeah, he
Right?
used
And
what
then
the FS.
Kill the Noise,
Yeah. Oh, kill the noise. There it
Fire
is. I see
Sale.
it. Yeah, yeah.
I try to keep sticks from albums, because these oak, well, these aren't oak. These are London Drumstick Company sticks, which are hickory, but they're really strong for some reason, I when I used to use hickory sticks, they were Zildjian, and they would just split. They would just split apart. I couldn't use them very long the way I play. And so I switched to Remo oak, and those things were really hard, and I loved them. They lasted forever. And then they're just insanely expensive. So I
Yeah.
got with Will at London Drumstick Company, and they sent me these, and they're hickory. And I mean, they barely do. I mean, I recorded those two songs with these sticks, and that's all it did.
They still look pretty good.
So I know it's crazy. So I've been keeping drumsticks from any like down by law sessions, and just just to
No,
have.
dude, I mean, if I could
I
show
can
you
send them.
if I could show you my whole studio, it's like a shrine to shit that I've done. I almost feel bad. Like when my wife
Yeah.
walks in here, my wife's like, "Ooh, it's the museum to Chris." But I mean,
No,
you
no, but that's
understand it.
fine.
You've got the shit hanging behind you. I've been there before.
Yeah, Tammy made me the punk rock drummers resonant head. I think it was for my birthday last year or the year before. And then Little Joe gave me that RKL skate deck. And then a guy in Italy made that fire sale wooden fire sale sign. Little Joe gave me that right there, that pick guard. He painted it. And then I think I bought the original
It's the back cover
from
of
John Lee.
yeah, it's the
Yeah,
Mark
Mark DeSalvo
DeSalvo.
original. Yeah, and then that snare head is when I went on tour with a band called Squad 50 in '98. And then some posters I've done photos of, like theater posters. So just like anything I'm a part of, I'll just hang it up or whatever, but I'm not going too crazy.
Well, I mean, I would like to redo my studio. It's I want to paint the walls black. Just to, like
Hmm.
your room, like you've got the wood on the walls. Maybe I'll do something like that. It just my room is so
Those are old fence
bright.
panels.
I what are they?
They're fence panels. Tanner
Oh,
got them
okay.
for free.
Oh, that's rad, man.
He has a buddy who owns a fencing company, and it was basically just like scrap. And Tanner and I just cut like random pieces, stuck them up there.
It looks
So
good.
it ended up looking really,
The only thing
yeah, I
you can
love it.
really see, my stuff's a little bit blurry, but like right, let me see, right here is that one time on tour old logo like flag.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really big
Uh-huh.
like backdrop. And then over here is my rock and roll summer camp I used to do for kids. And then I've got like this is a big poster of the first ever fire sale show. And I got
Oh, cool.
other
Oh yeah.
crap,
I
other
think that's
crap
like
on the walls.
was it like the lanyard, the Texas thing?
Yeah. The original
Okay. Yeah.
like postcard flyer thing that Seb did.
Yeah.
I just got it blown up and I put it in a frame.
Yeah. Yeah,
My
I've got random crap on my desk, like my Audrey 2.
There you go. I have on my desk
Yeah,
that I'm very excited about. I have my new
my
in-ear
animal.
monitors.
Oh, nice.
They're purple, man. Look.
Ooh, I love that.
I
Yeah, I
dude,
need to
I'm
get me some
telling
of
you right
those.
now, advertising for New X. This thing is rad. Like
Oh yeah, you've been showing me that.
this right here. Look, instead of like the line going to your monitor, like your drum monitor, you take that line, you put it in here, right? And if it's stereo, you can do two, but there's a mono one here for left. So you take the XLR
Mhm.
out of, or you just tell the sound guy, whatever. But you can also just take that out. If it's a speak on, you have to ask for a line, but they'll always do it. You put that in
Right.
here. So then this is your monitor. This is your wireless pack that charges on the machine. Like it magnetizes to that. And then you get a pair. Like what I did was I had to buy this and both of those come together. And then I just
Mhm.
got like I didn't go crazy. These are like mid-range in-ears. They're not like totally super expensive. If I like it, I'm going to get expensive ones. But basically what you do, and everybody listen audio only will love this, I'm sure. Uh this has got a little jack, right? So this goes on your belt or on your wherever you want it to be. You plug this into it, and then these go around the back of your ears, and then you can hear everything. He can do your own mix. He can give you the mix that's going through the mains. He can do anything.
Oh yeah.
And it's your
What'd you
own
pay for
little
that?
thing. Um, I got this like open box on eBay for like 200 bucks. Not
Okay.
bad. And then the in-ears
What's
are
the
like
brand?
a new X. It's the same as Brad's wireless.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can see that.
Gotcha. Yeah, everything. Yeah, I got. Yeah,
If
you've
you
got
want to
everything set
if
to
you want to check it
record.
out, you could even use it in your studio because you can have this in your control room running
Uh-huh.
out of your computer into that and then go in wirelessly to your drum kit and cut drums on it. Like,
Okay.
dude, it's freaking sweet. I love it so much. I can't wait to play a show now.
I need to figure out how to have um a way to hit record and everything next to my kit so I'm not running back and forth
You're
constantly.
using an Apple, right?
Yeah, I have a Mac.
You should be able, I think there is, I don't know for you're using Reaper still.
Hmm.
I know for Logic, like I do, there's an iPhone and iPad app that makes it a controller. And if they're on the same Wi-Fi, you can control your computer like in another room with the iPad or your iPhone. There might be one for
I
Reaper.
feel
I
like
don't know.
there wouldn't be like latency issues with that.
No, because I mean, it's instantaneous. You just hit record and it's a remote control, just like you're changing channels on your TV.
Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha.
Like
Yeah, I think
you're not going to
Reaper
be able
has.
to edit or do anything crazy on it, but you can the record,
No, I
the
don't need to.
yeah, it's just all the shit you would need to like hit record and you hear the click and then you're boom, you're going. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would look for a Reaper remote control. I'm sure there's probably one in the App Store.
I mean, I kind of don't mind it because I get some cardio in because I run from the
So what do
kit
you just like
in
set
here.
the locator back, hit record and then run in?
Yeah, yeah. I typically, so if you send me a song to play to, I'll bump it up and just give me like, I don't know, I'll give me like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I'll hit record and I'll go in there and I'll usually have like a count in and that works fine, like it doesn't bother me at all.
I'm gonna
I'm so
look right
used to it. I've
now.
been doing it for years. Yeah.
I'm gonna look in the App
But
Store.
I look at my steps. It's easily 10,000 steps at the end of the day.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't see a
But
Reaper
yeah,
remote.
it gets
I don't see a Reaper remote, but I'm sure you can get one somewhere. I'm sure there's one online somewhere or something.
like they have to I mean a lot of people use Reaper, so there's got to be something.
You might even like, I don't know, check out the Reddit like forum or something. There's got to be some app that is universal with all
Yeah.
DAWs.
I look at yeah, typically anytime I do a Google search, there's always a Reddit ask, you know,
Yeah.
r ask or whatever.
Okay, so
Or I'll find a Reaper thing. Yeah.
I want to ask you then, like, we haven't really touched on it, and I wanted to touch on it. I'm going to touch on it with Brad when he's on. Everybody out there, we're working on a full length. We're not playing many shows this year, but last year we had some pretty rad stuff. We went to Europe for the first time as a band, and
Yeah.
we headlined the second stage at Music for Cancer right before Pennywise. It was rad. So
That was
I don't really want to ask any questions. I kind of just want to get your take first off on getting to Europe. Uh, if you were excited, if you hated it, if you loved it, like just kind of give me the rundown on. I mean, starting back when I texted you and said, "Hey, dude, I just booked the flights," because that I was freaked out.
Well, yeah, so I've always wanted to go to Europe, but I've always thought that I just wouldn't fit in there. I don't know if that makes sense.
I can see.
Like
I understand what you mean.
like I'm so Americanized that I would have these expectations and then they're not there and I'd be like, "Oh no, what do I do?"
Dude, we were
You know?
always all of us have been that guy, but then
Yeah.
you go a couple of times and you start realizing like, oh, this is rad.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not that much different than being here, you know.
No.
The biggest takeaways were the small streets and the tiny hallways in the hotel and the
Dude,
tiny
the
elevator.
tiny elevator. We I was like, we could all fit in here. Like maybe we shouldn't because maybe it can't
I,
handle the weight of everybody.
yeah. Well, I think Butal went up by himself. I think I went up by myself. That's all I could fit. Um, no, I was nervous about it because I've never gone that far, but I think having Brad, family with me kind of made me feel a
Yeah.
little bit better because I've known Brad since I was born, and I was like, oh, cool, I get to experience this with you. We can kind of help each other out if we like
I was also
have any.
very stoked that we all got on the same flight from
Yeah,
Chicago.
that was cool.
That was
You
awesome.
know, nothing. I mean, did anything go wrong?
On that
I don't think
trip,
anything went. Yeah,
well,
I think
my
everything was
power
just.
amp blew up
Oh,
because it wasn't rated for European
yeah,
power,
yeah.
but I worked around that.
Yeah, but I think it was a quick fix. It wasn't. It
Yeah.
didn't like keep us from playing, or it didn't shorten our set or anything like that. But other than that, I think that was like the only snag that we had. Everything was perfect. I mean,
I
the
mean,
flights were great.
we were all in really good spirits. Food was great. All the people we met were amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was way better than and I don't know why I was feeling like that because, people go to Europe all the time and people I know and never a negative thing to say. And I didn't expect anything to be negative. I thought it was just going to be so different that
Yeah.
I would just kind of have this like weird culture shock, but
Well, I'll tell
it
you,
really wasn't.
when we go to South America, which there's already been talks about it, you'll get your different.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
My kids, we just got
Well,
back. We went to Colombia for spring break, and my kids, which they've been to Costa Rica and a couple places, south of the border, and Colombia is just, it's a great place, but it's really different. Like the food's different. If you want a bottle of Coke, it's different. Like, and my son's just like, this
yeah.
place is awesome. Everything's so different and weird. I'm like, it's not weird. It's just different.
See, I don't feel like I would think that way about South America because they're our neighbor, just
Yeah.
a little to the south of me, and I'm so kind of encapsulated by Hispanic culture here in
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I know it's different. I mean, I know like the culturally, I guess, you know, Hispanics in Texas, and then you have like your Mexicans, they're different. They treat
Yeah.
each other differently a little bit, like, oh, you're too Americanized. I'm going to treat you a little different. These are just stories that some of my Hispanic friends have told me. And then you go further south and it changes some. So it's not going to be like what I'm used to,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like it's that different for some reason. I,
I
I've
w-
I've felt more closer to the Hispanic and South American kind of countries than I do European countries.
I will say, it's kind of sometimes in Europe, especially if you go to like Eastern Europe and some of those old like Soviet bloc countries, and then but in
Yeah.
South America, every country I've been to in South America, there are similarities, but like if you're in Peru and then you fly to Brazil, it's completely different. There are certain things that kind of feel the same, but like the thing that I really love about South America is that every one of those countries has its own identity and you feel it the minute you get off the plane. And it's so rad,
Mhm.
man. Like, and the fans are different. Like, we have to play Peru. Like, that place is just amazing. And you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Isn't that
Chile.
where
Well,
Pedro's from?
Pedro is part Peruvian, yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, I know he's
Yeah.
stoked about going down there.
Yeah, I've always been kind of weird about, you see a lot of violence and shadiness, and I know it's anywhere,
Well,
but
this is what I
um,
always tell people because, like, when I told my mom and a bunch of my family and friends that they're like, "Where are you going for spring break?" and I'm like, "Oh, we're going to Cartagena, Colombia," and everybody's like, "You're going to Colombia?" I'm like,
haven't you seen Narcos?
"Yeah." Well, what I told him was, I'm like, "Yeah, there's crime there, but I mean, would you walk down the street in Detroit? Like, there's the same like." There's bad parts of Muncie where I live that I wouldn't walk down the street. Like, if you go to these places and you go to the places you're supposed to go and you act like you're supposed to be there and you put your wallet in your front pocket and you don't like, you just can't, you have to like have your wits about you and
Seems
make
a little
sure,
bit too much.
huh?
That seems a little much.
Well, I
If you
mean,
put your wallet in the front pocket, if you wear chainmail, if you
there's just the thing is in like in certain parts of Colombia, I'm sure there's probably some crazy stuff going on. But, we were in a beach community, like beach town. Like it's a
yeah,
tourist hotspot. Like the only
you're
thing we're gonna run
insanely
in, you're
clean.
gonna run into maybe a pickpocket. That's all you're gonna get. You're not
Yeah.
gonna get kidnapped and taken to the, to the Darien Gap and held for ransom by the narcos. You're not. That's not gonna happen. I mean, maybe it has happened. If
It
someone out there's
could.
listening that's been kidnapped by narcos and gone to the Darien Gap, let me know and I'll retract my statement. But you just kind of, and that's the same thing with Europe. I mean, like when we were in Belgium, I even asked a couple of the people, I was like, is it everywhere this nice and clean and pretty? And they're like, oh no, there's places you should not go. So, I mean, it's the same
Hmm.
anywhere. I mean, you just have to, that's the thing. I love that Henry Rollins, he had this quote that I always think about whenever I go somewhere. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but he's like, don't be a tourist, be a traveler.
Hmm.
He just kind of means like, soak up the culture, try different things. Don't be like, don't have your
Don't be
camera
annoying.
around your neck and just like, well, look, they've got a McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like you can do that, but you also like need to like kind of engulf yourself in what's going on and really understand where you are, And I think if you do that,
So,
and you and Brad did that. I think the initial like, whoa, we're in Europe was cool and that kind of carried you through. But I was the same way the first time I ever went out of the States. So like by
mhm.
the end of the trip, especially by the end of that day where we were like chilling and cruising around Brussels, it was still new and exciting. But I think you guys calmed down a bit and it's like, oh yeah, this place is rad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think I don't know. I think after we left the airport, I kind of was like, this looks like any highway in Texas.
Yeah, it
Like
looks the
we were
same.
driving to the hotel. I'm like, this really doesn't look that much different. The cars kind of look different. The cars kind of look funny to me, like things are a little more round there and not as tough looking like here.
Yeah.
So, you take all that in and then, the buildings are old and there's not as many billboards and stuff. I think that's, if I remember correctly,
Or if there
there
are,
wasn't a
they're
lot of,
smaller.
yeah, that's what it was. I think they're
Yeah.
smaller. I was just watching some footage the other day of us driving around there, and I think that's what I was thinking about. But yeah, I mean, it's very similar. There's stores, there's fast food restaurants, there's whatever. I'm like,
There's DoorDash.
yeah, there's
I
DoorDash,
waited for four
but
hours for a guy to drive 20 miles on a bicycle to bring me my chicken.
that's so
I
funny.
tipped him well, man. I felt bad.
Yeah. Well, then I was afraid to eat anything because like I don't, if I eat the wrong thing, I like sick to my stomach easily,
Yeah.
and then like Brad had ordered a pizza, and I was so hungry, and I wanted some of, and I did eat a little bit of it, but um, yeah, yeah, it was cool, like the old buildings, and we didn't really see too much of that until we went to um, what's the capital?
Brussels.
Brussels. Yes, I don't know why that escaped escaped my brain. Yeah, Brussels is whenever I was like, whoa. the old buildings. There was like a little bit of that, but where we were
Well, but
in
dude, I'm
Duffel.
sorry, but I'd been to Brussels a couple of times before that, and I still, when we walked into that like big plaza where all the buildings, I'm just like, oh my God, like you can't not
I know.
be impressed with that. I'm sorry.
That was
Like
incredible.
anybody out there that's jaded and says that's stupid, then they're not living their life the right way. Because like I'm telling
That
you,
was probably the coolest part.
I've been to Brussels and when I walked out with you guys, I'm still like, oh my God, like you feel so tiny, you know?
Yeah, you do. You do. But yeah, that was probably the my favorite part of the whole trip was when we walked down that kind of small alleyway. And now it wasn't an alleyway, it was a street, but there was buildings, like right here next to us, and we couldn't really see a whole lot. And then it just opens up, and it's just this like these gothic looking churches
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all sorts of, and I was
We
like,
went in
whoa, this place is awesome.
that church was built in like 1305 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And that area that opened up looked like a looked like stuff I'd seen in movies.
Oh, definitely.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't think they weren't real, but when you experience it, or like when we got out of the car to walk to the hotel and like Brad walked through the pigeons and the pigeons all scattered and then like came right
I
back.
love that, man. Yeah, it's great.
It's a movie thing,
You
but
go to Europe, you've
stuff
got
like
to
that
see
happens.
pigeons. That's like the iconic thing where you're in Europe and there's pigeons everywhere.
Well, I think it's like New York City and Chicago, it
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
as well, but there's something about European pigeons.
Dude,
It
I
just kind of
wish
has this.
I know that you were kind of tired and you wanted to go out that evening and get food or whatever. So when me and Seth and Butao got on the subway to try it out, you guys kind of hung back
Mhm.
and like rested. But like okay, so
Yeah.
we didn't know how to do the subway. We had to like ask 8 people how to get a ticket. Like it wasn't easy to do. And so we finally get our tickets and we get on the metro and I think we're going like north. I'm not sure. It was real hard to kind of navigate. And we're riding and riding and we don't know where to get off. And then I finally go, let's just get off here. And we got off and we were a block away from the United Nations building. And I wish I had more
Yeah.
pictures of it, but we got out and all the flags of all the countries are in front of it. And it was just
We
so
passed
rad.
it on the way in.
Yeah, yeah, we passed it on the way in and it was so rad because we got off the train and like boom, there it was. I'm like, "Oh my God, like that's where all the countries come and hang out and do stuff, you know?" It was really cool. They do
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. I remember seeing that as we drove in to Brussels, and I thought it was so cool seeing
I,
all those flags there and all that.
I have one really kind of vivid memory and it doesn't really mean much. I think you might remember it too, but your drumsticks had been shipped to like a DHS location or
Yeah.
something, right? And so
And we walked over there.
you and I left the festival, walked through Dufel,
Yeah.
past that big church and all that cool stuff, and like all the way over. And I ended up buying my daughter two Labubus in that
Yeah.
little store we went to. And I just remember it was so much fun because I think it started raining a little bit on the way back, maybe not like it just sprinkled, but like you and I were just like
And
laughing and making jokes and like just that was such a fun little like segue away from all the
I love that.
chaos, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And you had like some cut on your finger. You had cut your finger
Yeah, there's a video where
on
I'm
your
like
arm.
the
Yeah.
European bandages like wrap like 3 times around your finger.
Yeah. Well, it was cool
I have a
because
lot of European listeners, so they're probably laughing at all this shit right now.
well, that was cool of London Drumstick Company because I was waiting on an order forever and it was supposed to be here before I left and it didn't get here. And I just wanted to represent them. I wanted to give some sticks away because they were the punk rock drummer sticks and it just didn't happen. And so I sent them an email and I was like, "Hey, I think I may have sent the email before I even left." And then they responded when I was in Belgium and they're like, "Your sticks are ready." Like I don't know, a mile away or something, or half a mile away from you at this place. And it was like a convenience store.
Yeah, it was just like a little
It was
convenience
like,
store that also had a little DHS shipment place in the back.
uh well, and then I had so many drumsticks. I was like, how am I gonna get all these back? And it made everything so heavy. And so I gave a bunch of them away to people, which was cool because it was at the show and everything. And my bag weighed so much coming back home because I had so many sticks.
Did they charge you an
But
overage for it, or
no,
because it was like
no,
your
nothing like
carry on?
that. I think they actually let it slide. I think it was like 52 pounds. I think
Yeah.
the cutoff is 50. They were like, it's okay. They just let it slide. So, but yeah, the whole trip to me was so much better so much smoother, and it was very well put together. Everyone involved did such a great job
It was so
getting us
nice.
there
It was so nice to have a
and home.
team behind us too, because Seth was there kind of doing merch and tour managing. And then
Yeah,
Jeremy
he's
was,
still all
oh yeah. And then Jeremy was there to kind of also help TM and make sure everything ran
of it.
smoothly as our agent. And then his buddies
Yeah,
that came, you know, Sticks was taking pictures of us, and like it just,
yeah,
we had like a team and it felt like so
those
professional
guys
and
are so
cool.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And I was really happy about that. It made the experience so much better for me. I didn't. I know a lot of bands, they go out there on tour and they get stranded, they don't know where they are, and that's all part of it, but
Yeah.
that's not really how it works anymore. That was the 80s and 90s. It's maybe early 2000s, but there's
I
just
I just
today we have too
love,
much
I
technology.
I love that our band so far, like the people that we surrounded ourselves with, are really good people that work really hard for us and believe in the band. So it's nice to, you always believe in your own band. Like we all
Sure.
believe in our band, but it's nice to have, the support of Negative Progression and Seth and Jeremy. And, now we've got Morgan and Steve at Merit Based Booking for, Europe and Canada. And it's just, we're starting to have so many people in the extended family of Fire Sale, and they're all really good, hardworking people that believe in the band, and it's really cool.
It is. And being in my band 41 Gorgeous Blocks for the last 26, 27 years, we didn't really have, I'm not gonna say we didn't have that kind of support. I guess it wasn't so evident, I guess, but we didn't, we toured a little bit, around, but it was so long ago. It was
Yeah,
harder, there weren't really cell phone. I guess we had like very primitive cell phones, and we just kind of did it ourselves and relied on ourselves. I mean, we had some fans and stuff, but I don't know. This is very new to me, and I like it. Especially because if you have some anxiety about traveling somewhere different you're not used to, and all that stuff, it just really, really helped me feel more comfortable, while I was there. And it made me feel better about going other places.
that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about. So, your first real taste of international touring was when we went to Canada last year, and I know, like, you
Two
found
years
all
ago.
the, you found, yeah, 2 years ago, you found the little idiosyncrasies of, like, they had poutine at McDonald's, and like Park Ronald
You mean
was
Park
like,
Rock?
yeah, Park Ronald, all the little things that make Canada different, especially like French Canada, like going to Quebec's a little different than going to Ontario. And I know that you and Brad really enjoyed that, and it kind of opened your eyes to, whoa, we went to another country, we're going to play music. So when we went back to Canada last year, was it different at all? Like you kind of knew what to expect? Like, how did you feel about that?
Yeah, Canada isn't really that. I mean, Canada itself as a whole is really not a culture shock. I mean, people may talk a little funny to me. French Canada, yeah, that was it wasn't too different, I guess, because everyone spoke English.
For the
You know,
most
I
part.
didn't
Yeah.
have to. Yeah, I mean, anyone I don't think I ran into anyone who didn't speak English. They had Starbucks, they had, all the things they had back home, and you're a stone's throw from what, Vermont,
Yeah, I think we're very close
you
to
know,
Maine and Vermont and New Hampshire.
in New York. Yeah, I mean, it's so close to the US that it wasn't too bad. But the second time I went, it was just like, hey, we're going back to see our friends and we almost did the exact same routine. We didn't stay at the same house, but we stayed at the same hotel.
Yeah.
We went to the practice space. We played at the same grounds, and the only thing that was different was Artist World was in a different spot,
Yeah.
you know, and they didn't have that guy
Did you
cooking
did you feel more
brisket.
like did you feel more like though, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but maybe the first time a little green and then like this time like, "Oh, I've done this. I know what to
Yeah.
expect," and you could go into it a little less anxious maybe?
Oh yeah, yeah. The first time was a lot of wonder, and I know y'all thought that was funny because
But dude, it's
you
not
know,
even really like that like we think it's funny. It's that I personally when I see you and Brad get excited, it makes me excited because I've played a lot of places and I've
yeah,
never really gotten like bitter about it or like, jaded. It still makes me stoked anywhere I go. But seeing like, oh yeah, I remember the first time I came to Canada and it was like, Canada's like this weird monster where it's very similar, but then there are little differences that I'm like, that's weird.
yeah.
Like
Well,
little
it's like
tiny things.
if you ever watch those reaction videos, of people experiencing something new for the first time, that's something you love. I can assume it's like that for you.
Well, and I just love like it's almost like getting to relive my first time going somewhere through the eyes of you and Brad because and it makes me happy like to see you guys
Yeah,
so stoked. Because you can get jaded like if we do fire sale for another 5 years and we go to Japan 2 or 3 times and go to Europe and
that's
then
what I want.
go to Australia and all that, I'm not saying any of us will get jaded, but you can kind of see how someone would get jaded a bit.
Yeah. Um, I don't think I would just because I like playing so much.
Yeah.
I think that would offset that.
That's
Just
how it
thrill
is
of
for me.
playing.
If I get to play my guitar, I don't care if I'm in Kansas City, Missouri or Tokyo. Like it's the same.
Yeah. I love playing in front of people. And I'm not an introvert at all,
Yeah.
like face to face, but like when I play drums, I kind of turn into an introvert a little bit and I like being back there and just kind of keeping things together and not having to worry about like hitting the right note.
Yeah.
I think
That's
drums are
hard. That's
much more
hard sometimes, man.
drums are much more forgiving, I think. Um, I'm trying to compare something like breaking a string on a guitar maybe compared to I don't know, dropping a stick or
Yeah.
maybe breaking a drum head or something like that. But I mean, how often do you break a drum head? Hardly ever.
Yeah.
You can just grab another stick if you need it. And then you just kind of you get used to this pattern in your head and you just play the pattern and everyone and you kind of control it. It's kind of cool.
The one thing that I've
But
really liked about your playing, and I'll just go on the record, like when we get done, because we don't play to a click, but when we get done and I have video of the show, I try to line it up. And we're normally pretty close to the tempo that it is on the
that's
record.
so weird. That is so odd. There's like three instances of that happening that I know of.
Yeah. It's pretty
I don't know how
rad.
that works. Well, and I think it's because we don't practice the songs enough to where because at practice I'll probably naturally start speeding up a little bit, but I've recorded the songs and it's stuck in my head. Like the tempo is stuck.
Well, and when you rehearse, you're rehearsing to the song itself that is at
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
tempo.
It's really not surprising. And I think another factor is we haven't played enough for me to be real super comfortable with the songs. And so I think I'm being kind of careful.
Yeah.
You know, I'm I'm still kind of at the point where I'm thinking about it more than I should have. But like my other band, 41 Gorgeous Blocks, we've been playing the same songs for 25, 26 years or whatever. And it's just autopilot. And I tend to play those a lot faster because I'm more comfortable. So I think that's what it is.
I feel like every time we go play a show or two, it gets more like muscle memory for me. And I think that makes sense. Most bands are together in a garage and play a million times and then go play the show. So it feels good. I will say that every time we play a show, it gets tighter and it sounds better. And like I went back the other day I haven't played the songs in a couple months. I went through the entire set and I messed up, but I remembered all the parts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's in there now, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's called soak time. You
Yeah.
play it and you don't play it for a while and your brain makes all these connections and it's easier when you go back to it, that recall you have.
Well,
I don't know. I can't
I
explain.
tell you what, man, we've been on here for over an hour, so I want to do like some quick fire questions for you
Okay.
to end this out. So I'm
Sounds
just
good.
gonna, off the top of my dome, first off, are you listening to anything cool right now that you really like? Old or new or
Oh,
anything?
like I was saying earlier, I kind of shuffle more. I've been listening to like some old country. I've been trying to get my daughter to listen to older music.
Yeah,
So okay, so for instance, today we listened to Don McLean. We listened to American Pie. We listened to Starry Starry Night, or I'm sorry, Vincent, and she knows a lot of the words, so like she's getting into liking those older songs because I'm listening to older stuff more. And we listened to He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones. Um, what else? We listened to Yesterday by the Beatles. We listened, one of her favorite songs is Eleanor Rigby.
great
And so we
song.
kind of like, yeah, yeah. So I've been slowly kind of like and what I try to do is I try to draw parallels with some of the songs she likes that I think are just god awful. And I'm like, oh, that kind of is similar to this song. And I'll pull it up real quick. I'm like, listen to this. Pay attention to these lyrics. Listen to maybe how this song was influenced by this older song. And then she'll kind of be like, oh yeah, I like that. And so I've been listening to a lot of older stuff lately, and it's not really any like one genre. It's a bunch of different things because I'm desperately trying to get my daughter to listen to better music.
Well, dude, I've done the same thing. We've been listening to the Beatles a lot in the car, and my son is kind of starting to pick out things he likes. Like I'll just put on
Yep.
Beatles radio on Spotify and it just like does everything. And my daughter really likes old Beach Boys songs. She
So does
likes
Lee.
she no, oh, God only knows what I'd be without you. That's such a weird
Yeah.
song. I love it, man.
That's one of my favorite albums right there, Pet Sounds.
So I've been trying to culture my kids because my daughter likes a lot of like I'll be listening to some like I'll have some 80s playlist going in the studio just to relax and she'll start singing like I wear my sunglasses at night. Like she picks stuff up on YouTube or whatever and just remembers the
Yeah.
songs. The other we have this thing where I I let her hear I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. And
Oh
like,
yeah.
so now we take turns going, I believe I can fly. And she like sings it all like dramatically. But no, my son has gotten into his rap phase,
Okay.
which some of it's okay because like he finds it on YouTube music. So some of it's like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem, like from the 90s, like the stuff I liked when I was
Right.
young.
That's the good stuff. Yeah, yeah.
But some of it's like the new mumble rap trap stuff. And I don't mind it, but he's into it. He loves
Sure.
Juice
Well,
World. You know who Juice World is?
I've heard of the name,
It's
but you know what's
okay.
funny is So in my kennels, my dog kennels that are right behind this wall, I have this little crappy radio, and it picks up like a country station and like I don't know, a Tejano station. And so I just put it on the country station because occasionally it'll play a song that I like or know, that maybe an older song.
Yeah.
But this new stuff, it sounds like white people like trying to mumble rap almost. It's so bad. You should just no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Dude,
Don't
I,
do
I
it.
will say I'm a country fan, but my fandom for country stopped somewhere around 99.
Yeah,
Like
same.
like
Me
I
too.
like I like old Garth Brooks stuff. I love Johnny Cash, like the old school kind of like 60s,
Yeah,
70s,
man.
80s type stuff. I love a lot of outlaw country stuff. There's guys now like Tyler Childers and Jason Isbell and stuff like that that I absolutely love. I love Chris Stapleton. I If it's good, it's good. You know what I mean? But like we have a country station here in town, and
I think
once
yeah.
no, I was gonna say once in a while, like I'll flip to it, and no offense to anybody, but every song is the same tempo. Every song has the
It's bad.
same refrain and stupid lyrics, and
Yeah, the lyrics especially.
yeah, like
The last country guy I think I got into is Brad Paisley, and he's like a real
dude is a monster guitar
like
player.
he is insane on guitar. And that's I think that's why well, he writes funny songs, you know, I can relate to
I
and
like that
whatever.
song he's got
And some
about where he's
weirder,
like his wife wants him to stop fishing and he says no, and
oh
he'll
yeah, I'm gonna miss her.
yeah. I mean, I love that
Stuff
song.
like that. I'm a sucker for stuff like that. But his
Well, that's
guitar playing
clever.
is
That's clever. That's not just like,
yeah.
you
And
know.
punk rock does it too. Like Fat Mike is really good about uh those kind of play on word titles as well.
Okay, so that's what you're listening to. Now, I'm going to say bands, and if you like the bands, say yes. If you don't like the bands, say no.
What if I've never heard of them?
Say I've never heard of them.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Descendants.
Descendants? Oh yeah, of course.
All.
I'm part of the family shrub.
I,
Yeah,
I
all,
know. I
yes.
know.
I think I like all more.
I think I like Descendants more, but it's weird. I should like All more because it's a little more progressive. And I love
Yeah.
All, don't get me wrong, but Descendants are more, I think it's the melody aspect. I think Descendants have catchier songs. Do you know what I mean?
Descendants are much more digestible,
Yeah.
I think, for most people. Like you play I mean you play a Descendants song and then you play Educated Idiot, and what are people gonna like? Yeah, um I'm the one, and then you play Educated Idiot.
Yeah.
What are people gonna like?
Okay, so we like those bands.
Yeah.
Deftones,
Yes. Love. I don't know I know who they are, but I never listened to Deftones.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. You got
I
to be
mean they
honest.
have
You got to be honest. It doesn't mean you hate
Kanye.
them.
Well, no. I don't hate them. They have a certain kind of special place, whenever I was getting into music more, they had some popular songs, and you heard them constantly, and they were on MTV and stuff. And so it's like those are my formative years of
Yeah.
getting into music, and so I have a soft, but I don't listen to them. I've never bought an album. I don't go out of my way to listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I think their drummer is pretty good. Chad Smith. It's pretty rad.
Did you see him?
He
Did you
played
see
with
him play with Paul
McCartney.
McCartney?
Yeah, it was great, man.
Yeah.
It was the
Or was it
first.
Will Ferrell?
Oh yeah, right. It was the first
Did you
time
see
in
him drop
like
a drumstick?
I didn't see that, but they said something I saw on Facebook. It was the first time I can never remember Paul's drummer, but it's that big guy that's always been playing with him for like years. It was the first
Yeah.
time in like 25 years that he missed a show.
Hmm.
I don't know why. They didn't say why.
I didn't know the story behind it. But it was funny. I was watching him play Band on the Run, and I guess there's like he does like a drum fill, and he completely lost a drumstick. I was like, Tammy, watch this. He's gonna drop a drumstick.
That song is so cool
That was pretty
because
cool.
like it's two different songs when they go into that boom bam ba na 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 na, and then they
Yeah,
go, then it goes into that whole other like it's like two songs smooshed together. I love it.
yeah, yeah. Me too.
Okay, speaking of that, then
All right.
The Beatles,
Love the Beatles. Huge fan.
Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I do like the Rolling Stones, but they don't really do it for me.
Same here.
Does
I
that make
really
sense?
I like them and I respect them, but whenever anybody says, "Are you a Stones guy or a Beatles guy?" I'm a Beatles guy down deep.
Oh, totally. I mean, when the melody, I'm such a sucker for a good melody, and I don't feel like Rolling Stones, they're a little more rough around the edges when it comes to that. But what they do works, you know. Um, so it's just how they sound. But I think they're a good band and everything. So I don't really have too much of an opinion on them.
Okay, Foo Fighters.
I like Foo Fighters. I'm not never was crazy about Foo Fighters. Um, but I do enjoy some of their songs. And of course, I'm a Dave Grohl fan.
Yeah, me too. Like people have asked me before, "Do you like the Foo Fighters?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like them. I've never purposely put them on."
I'm like, I like Dave Grohl.
Like
Well, he was one of the drummers.
I love
He was
every
one of the
member of
drummers for
that
Possible.
band. Dude,
Yeah, yeah.
that band is like Pat Smear, Chris Shiflett, all those
Oh
guys,
yeah.
Nate
They're huge.
Mendel, like all those guys. But I've never been like, man, I'm gonna put on a Foo Fighters song. I've never been done that.
I mean, I did an Everlong cover like everyone has.
Yeah,
And I did a cover with
that
like a
Watershed or
Chris
whatever.
Watershed. Yeah, that was a fun song. We did it with Bill Bill Stevenson and
Bill and
his son
Miles, right?
Miles.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Tanner played bass.
I. That's the thing. Like, I love that band. I mean, because I love all the dudes in the band. I just watched an interview with them on Hot Ones a while back before I got on here. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great, but I don't think I've ever owned. I think I own The Color and the Shape on CD.
Well, I thought they were refreshing because I hated pretty much everything else that was on the radio at the
Yeah.
time. And they were probably like the most kind of punk rock band,
I
you
mean,
know.
all those guys have punk rock ties. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Okay, Weezer.
Um I like Weezer. They're another one of those bands that were very prominent whenever I was getting into
The Blue Album was big.
music. My parents, yeah, like when I was getting into music, my parents didn't raise me on those years. Those bands imprinted on me, and Weezer was one of those. I'm trying to remember. I guess Sweater Song was that Blue Album.
Yeah, yeah. And Buddy Holly, Say It Ain't
Buddy
So.
Holly. I mean, MTV played Buddy Holly every other song. So but I like it. And one of the first songs I learned to play on drums was "Say It Ain't So," and that was probably the first song I recorded ever, because Tanner and Brad would come up to Gainesville, and somehow Brad figured out how to record us onto a tape with like a single microphone in a room, and that's what we played was "Say It Ain't So." And I used to think that drum fill kind of three-quarters of the way in was impossible. Um, yeah, I like Weezer. I
Okay.
like Weezer. But I I don't go out of my way to listen to him really.
Yeah, I
I like
mean,
the song My Name Is.
I had the Blue Album, I had Pinkerton, and after that, I kind of like that. I got my hash pipe. That song is okay.
Yeah. That
Beverly Hills when it comes on is kind of fun, but it's not. It's kind of just a goofy song.
yeah, it doesn't do anything for me.
Okay, so we're getting down to the wire. I'm looking at the record right now on my now playing on top of my record player.
I love Propaganda. Yes.
Propaganda. How'd you know that's what
I
was on
love
my
them.
record player?
I'm a clairvoyant. You didn't know that?
You just know that I love that band so much.
I know you and I hear the songs you write. Of
There's some influence there, I'm not gonna lie.
course there is. And I'd be influenced by Propaganda more if I could play the stuff. But
Dude, Jord is insane. Are you gonna have Jord on your podcast?
I'd like to. I don't know how to get a hold of him. I don't know anyone who knows him other than maybe.
Uh you could I could hit up Todd, or you could just add Todd from my friends list and ask him. I'm sure he could put you in contact with Jord.
Yeah, I saw someone do an interview with him recently, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it some time.
I think it was Dewey. Didn't like Pure Pleasure. I think he did it.
Maybe,
I can't
maybe.
remember. Maybe it was somebody else. I don't know. But no,
Yeah,
that dude's
Propaganda.
a killer, man.
Yeah, Propaganda is the band that. So like, if I come across some thread full of like metalheads, and I'm like, and they're like, "What's some cool new music I could listen to?" I'm always like, Propaganda. It's like you
Yeah.
have no idea how they're better than whatever you like.
Well, think about it,
But,
like Mark from Low End University, like how he had no
oh
idea about
yeah,
any of that, and now Propaganda's
I
like
was.
his band.
Dude, I was so excited to see that he was gonna do. I think he did. He did like the newest. Um, what's that? What's that? Not the last one they did, but the one before. It was a title track, I think, that he first did.
At
But I
peace.
wanted to. No,
You
no, it was
talking
the one
about Victory
before.
Lap or whatever?
Victory Lap. I think he did Victory. I think that may have been the first one he did. I could be wrong, but I was so giddy that he was gonna. But then I was like, oh, but I don't want it to be that song. I want it to be like one of these like insane riffy, like weird timing or something, or maybe something off Today's Empires, Tomorrow's Ashes. Because that album blew my mind because before that, I think, I went from How to Clean Everything to Let's Talk More Rock and then straight to, um, what's that? What did I just say?
Uh Today's Empires,
Today's
Tomorrow's
Empire.
Ashes.
Yeah, I went to there. I think I skipped. Did Potemkin City Limits come out before that?
Yeah, no, after, but that record is killer, man.
It is, but somehow I missed it. I completely missed that album, and
That came out right after, I think, Today's Empires.
but I had a tape. So I was driving an '89 Ford Tempo that the hood would come up sometimes when I would drive to work and like smash my window, and I'd have to like swerve off. And I had a tape of Today's Empire, Tomorrow's Ashes, and I listened to it constantly on the way to work and back every day. That's where I was working when I was saying 9/11. I didn't have to go until 11, so it was kind of cool. But that's what I was listening to over and over was that album, and I was hoping he would do something straight from there. I don't know if he I don't think he's done anything from that album yet,
Well, I've
but
talked to him a couple times. I'm gonna have him on the podcast just because I I think
he's my bro.
I mean, I've through you guys hanging out is how I've talked to him on Instagram, and now we kind of know each other. And I've been trying to get him to do Fire Sale on the channel just to help us out. But because I mean, it's Matt Riddle. He's done a bunch of Matt Riddle stuff. I said, why not do some more Matt Riddle stuff? But I want to talk to him and really let him know. And I think he already knows it. But all of us guys that love punk rock, when we see somebody experiencing it like for the first time
Yeah,
and dissecting it and like understanding, he had a preconceived notion about what punk was. And then when he started dissecting punk stuff, it's like he gets so stoked when they do cool stuff, and it's like, yeah, we've known about this for 30 years. Now you're figuring it out, but it's so
I
nice
know.
to watch somebody experience it for the first time.
Well, I've been trying to get him to do all birds or cause for like the last 2 years, and he did Honey Peeps, I think. I was like, no, not that one.
I told him to do
Do
the
bird.
albert. I told him to do the albatross just because it starts with bass, but it's got
No. not the
Which one should he
albatross.
do?
Okay, I think about this a lot, and it's a tough one. Um, in Archaic Construct, he does a lot of cool stuff, and then dies, but that's not out yet. So
Yeah. I
I
mean
think
that's a Matt
those two
Riddle. That's a Matt Riddle special right there.
totally
That
like
new
those. I
one.
think those would be the, and it used to be the albatross, but I I think I think the bass lines are so much more dynamic and cool in these. Dies is kind of a short song,
Yeah.
but it's so full of bass. Like the way it's structured, the way he plays is so
Well, I'm
cool.
glad you brought
And
that
it's
up
just,
because we're gonna end this podcast, but I do want to tell people, and I think you know because you're on the label group chat. They've been sent to the pressing plant. Our new 7-inch split with the core is coming out soon. I
Mhm.
don't have a time when the digital is going to drop yet. I think Seth will let us know soon. But man, to I can't wait for new stuff to come out. And I think those two songs really show like the
They're
far
very
side,
different.
the far side of the band over here, and then the other far side of the band over here.
Yeah. I mean, one song isn't acoustic and the other song's punk rock, but there's one that's a lot more, I don't know. It's certainly
You can
tempo
say it.
wise.
You can say it. It's
Oh,
busy.
what dies?
Well, no, I'm just saying like one of them is like a fast, intricate punk song, and one of them is just kind of one of my weird, dissonant, weird songs. I don't know what to say.
I thought it was funny because Riddle is such a stickler about my kick drum and everything, and I'm a stickler about bass and kick and stuff. So he and I are on the same page. I don't know if he realizes that, but I know he always gets on to me about stuff like that. Make sure you do this, make sure you push, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm there.
I just
And
always say make sure you don't miss the syncopation, the kicks.
yeah, well, at the beginning of Dies, the bass line is different than the rest of the song. Like the intro and verse bass lines, they have one more hit on the bass. And then after the first chorus, it comes back in and it's different. And so I recorded my drums exactly to what he played in that first part and then changed it right after the first chorus. And then he said something about it being wrong or something. And I said, "Well, you played it differently." So I played it to your bass line. And then he went back and listened to it and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right."
Well, you got to give him a little grace because I think me and him
Oh yeah.
he sent me that song completed like 3 years ago, and I did the guitar the night he sent it to me, and then we didn't touch
Yeah.
it again until like 4 months ago.
No, I told that story because it feels good that, I did something right and he was happy about it.
Well, I think that you know the drill now. Like whether I write it or he writes it, it's probably going to have some pushed kicks.
But that's my favorite. That's what I'm used to is that
I
kind of
just think
stuff.
I think it feels it for me. It kind of naturally happens when I'm writing, but I think it gives it like an urgency or it like drives the song more than just always coming in on the one. You know.
Oh yeah, totally. And we've even changed what was the last song we did where we changed. Oh, it was dun-dun-dun,
Call the Void.
All the Void.
Oh yeah, because
Yes.
some of
That
those
was
are
called something
pushed.
different before, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called before that. But it was
Took away a push in the chorus.
well yeah, there's pushed parts and then there's non-pushed parts and they're kind of all over the place.
Well, yeah, I
Or
think
every
Brad came
other
up with
kind
the
of.
Yeah, I think Brad was like, "Yeah, maybe we shouldn't push it here." And we all agreed and we just didn't. And I re-recorded it like that and we all liked it better, I think.
I think it matches up better because that's
Oh.
another one that, Riddle sent pretty much complete. And then I just kind of recorded the guitars over all that he'd already done my kind of way. but the bass line had like those pushed kicks, and then sometimes it went on the one, and then sometimes. So when you sent it the first time and they were all pushed, and then Brad said that, I think it made it a better song that you kind of just.
Yeah.
I mean, and it makes sense. You're the drummer, like it makes sense. If you and Riddle were playing together all the time, it wouldn't matter because you guys would just be locked in.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. That's what I want.
I tell you, man, good things coming. We've got new music coming out. We're writing our full length. We're gonna get that all figured out. Possibly do some shows in Texas in December next year. Lots of cool plans. Is there anything else that you want to promote or talk about or anything?
No, I mean, we're still doing the Punk Rock Drummers podcast. It's just kind of a little slow going right now, but
You got
uh
the group on Facebook too, right?
yeah, so the Punk Rock Drummers Facebook group, I don't push it as much as Butal does, the bass players one. I mean, he's turned that into a cultural phenomenon or
Dude,
whatever.
he's crazy with that. I love it. I love it. So I'm so
I
happy
mean,
for him.
every yeah, it's like every noteworthy bass player is wearing his shirt on stage. And and there's like a handful of people who have this shirt. But I think Butel's personality is just he's good at that kind of stuff, and I'm not. I'm kind of like, hey, it's there if you want it. It's kind of cool. If you want to. And some people are really into it, and I like it. I like that. It's kind of a cool community. I think obviously it was needed. I didn't realize it at the time whenever I created it, but it's turned into something really cool. And
I I
a lot of
tried
helpful
to I
people.
tried to do a punk rock guitarist one. Didn't go very well. And then there ended up being another one that got going and it did better than mine. And then they made me a moderator on there and like I'll approve posts once in a while, but I don't know, man. I think guitar players are just too much in their own mind and don't really build community the same way.
Yeah, there's something about drummers, especially. I think we deal with the most crap, you know, equipment,
Yeah.
and it's hard to move around,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you're sharing a lot, and so you got to kind of have that community. You know, it, there's a lot of things that we deal with. I think a lot of people don't understand, and so we're very like sympathetic towards one another.
Well, I tell you, man, I'm glad you're my drummer. I'm glad you're my
I'm
friend.
glad to be your drummer. Yeah, and friend, yes.
You're my
I think about
brother.
that all the time. Hmm.
We met in a weird way over the internet doing covers during a pandemic, but
Yeah.
now we're boys for life, man.
Yes, we are. We better be.
Okay, well
And that's how it is
tell
with Dave.
tell Tammy and Lee and everybody that I miss them and love them and I hope they're doing well. And
Yes, give your family
I'll
love.
talk to you very soon because we got to figure out this whole full length thing.
Well, oh, hey, can you send me MP3s of every song that you sent so I
Yeah,
can load them in the
yeah.
Reaper, just like
I'll just
listen with
I've got a this
I
thing
don't
that
like SoundCloud.
I've got this thing that I made that I haven't really kept up with. I made it a long time ago when we got rid of our Google Drive because Timmy needed the Google Drive back. Um, it's called Fire Sale Recording at gmail.com. I'm going to use it for this whole process, you know. And I'll load them all up and then there and send you a link.
Okay. Yeah, that's whenever I can toggle back and forth easier between the songs, it makes my life better.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
SoundCloud is like kind of weird.
Oh, and I'm supposed to tell you, and I'll get in trouble if I don't, but Indy and Silas both wanted to say hello to Uncle Matt.
No, hello. I
They're
it's funny
asleep
because
right now. But
I play Roblox with Lee a lot, and I see their names up there. I can't remember what Silas. It's something. This isn't
Swinsters.
the real Silas.
Oh yeah, he's got a
Well, it
different
says
name.
yeah,
He
yeah.
always changes
But
it.
I see.
He got a PS5 for his birthday, so he's been playing that now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's
Well,
probably a lot
dude,
safer as well.
we were in Colombia. He had an Xbox, but we were in Colombia, and at the resort we stayed at, they had this like kids room, and they had 5 PS5s set up with beanbag chairs. So, and you could sign into your account and you could play all your games. So like one day it rained and we played NBA 2K26 and we're just hanging out and he got really good at PS5. So for his birthday, he asked for one and now his Xbox is collecting dust. We might end up selling it. Indy's got an Xbox in her room, but he loves the PS5 now. He's been getting all kinds of games and stuff.
That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
like playing the
I'm not a big,
sports games, but I don't I played Roblox a couple times.
yeah. Lee and I played a card game today, which was nice. Got us off of our devices.
Like a legit card game.
It was Dumb Ways to Die, the card game.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty fun. It took me a while to figure it out, but it was fun.
Well, man, I miss you like crazy. Thanks for coming on the
Me
show.
too.
Everybody go check out the Punk Rock Drummers group on Facebook and make sure to check out the Punk Rock Drummers podcast. I will leave a link to the YouTube and all the stuff in the show notes. And that's it for, I think, episode 206. I don't remember. But we'll see you next time, Matt. You're the best. And I will see you very, very soon, my friend.
All right. Same.
Peace
Love you,
out.
buddy.
Bye. Love you too.
Bye.